Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session on energy and utilities. Today, we will discuss what is energy and utility sector, what is the importance of energy and utility in our daily lives. We'll talk about climate change, sustainability, trends and challenges in ENU sector, and finally, what the industry is doing to solve some of the problems, including some innovation examples. My name is Uttam Shah. I lead the business development for energy and utility at Aspire. My background is 20 plus years in sales across various industries. I'm joined by Sumit Maity, COE Head, CRM at Aspire. Sumit, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, thanks. Hi everyone. My name is Sumit. I also have almost 2 decades of experience on CRM and Salesforce related technologies. I am working very closely with Uttam on energy and utility sector. So yeah, that's a very quick brief from my side. Uttam, over to you.
Good. Thank you, Sumit. Thanks for the introduction. So let us understand what is energy and utility sector. As we know, oil and gas and water is a daily amenity and lifeline for people. We need electricity to power our industries, businesses, homes, streets, hospitals. We need oil and gas for travel and transportation, heating. We need water to drink, generate energy, and process industrial goods. So, energy and utility sector comprises of oil and gas companies who explore and extract oils from wells, refine, distribute, and retail it. Generation companies who generate electricity from various fossil fuel sources like coal, gas, etc., nuclear, hydel, biomass, as well as renewables such as wind, solar, geothermal, and tidal. We have transmission companies who transmit electricity from large generation sites to local distribution substations or bring gas from ports to storage hubs. We have distribution companies who supply electricity and gas to domestic and commercial and industrial site meter points. We have retailing companies who read the meter and bill the customers. And finally, we have water and wastewater companies who maintain water reservoirs, supply clean water to homes, businesses, industries, collect sewerage, clean it and supply it back to the river systems. So in all, energy utility companies are critical to any nation's survival, stability, security, economic and social development, including industrial, business, job creation, and quality of life of citizens as a whole. But this sector is experiencing three key sustainability challenges. Let us look at them. First, meet the rising demand for energy and water. We are expecting 2 billion people to be added by 2050. Second, reduce consumption of natural resources, which is depleting with time due to availability, overuse, and wastage. For example, if we continue to use oil and gas the way we are continuing doing, it will be over in 50 years, 53 years, and 114 years, respectively. Third, respond to global warming. Rising global temperature due to greenhouse gas emissions has resulted in extreme climate conditions, such as wildfire, seabed droughts, flood, heat wave, rainfall, as well as extreme cold conditions. So in this context, we need to just look at two events which were important. First is the Paris Agreement, in which government across 196 nations came together and agreed to limit the global warming to 1.5 degrees centigrade. That emissions need to peak before 2025 and decline to 43% by 2035. The UK government took a step further, and then they passed a law targeting 78% reductions by 2035 and net zero by 2050.
Okay, this is interesting, Uttam. So you just spoke about the ecosystem which comprises in energy and utility sector. You also spoke about sustainable challenges which the industry is doing. Now, can you tell me some more details and some kind of facts which are there in energy and utility sector?
Good. Let me mention some interesting facts. Okay, for energy and water, it will be very limited. The list could go on. But as per the International Energy Association report, we could achieve net zero. To achieve net zero by 2050, the share of fossil fuels consumption has to come down to 20%. Currently, we are using 80% fossil fuels. Electricity would be the major source of energy consumption, which means 50% of our total energy supply will be coming from electricity. Out of this, 90% of the electricity would be generated from renewables. And in all of this to happen, getting energy from renewable resources, the grid has to get ready. So the annual investment in transmission and distribution needs to increase by threefolds, close to 800 plus billion dollars by 2030. And the last one is that the global EV sales is expected to rise to around 60% of the total car sales by 2030. So we just spoke about some energy related facts. Let me relate to water. So we wasted around 1 trillion liters of water alone in UK in 2021. And according to the UN report, around 2/3 of world population will face at least 1 month of water shortage by 2050. So the situation is a bit scary, but we need to focus on conserving our natural resources and use it prudently.
Wow, this is very interesting, Uttam. Now, Uttam, in related to the same topic, can you also highlight that what are the key 5 challenges which the industry is facing at large?
Good. Yeah, Sumit, there are several challenges, but let us focus on the 5 main challenges in my view. The first one, meeting the rising demand for energy and water. So water companies are conserving water reservoirs by building green habitats around a reservoir facility. They're building infrastructure to stop storm drainage. They're advising customers on reducing water consumption using technology to reduce wastage. Oil and gas companies are transitioning to renewable resources such as wind, solar, tidal, battery, hydrogen, biofuels, and energy suppliers are driving behavioral change into customers by advising them on reducing consumption and incentivizing for using less. For example, demand flexibility sessions in the UK. Let's look at challenge number 2, deliver net zero target by 2050. So energy and utility companies have embraced the net zero in their business model and taken up targets to bring this forward by 2035 or 2040. So for this to happen, ENU companies are transforming their operations to decarbonize, which means more and more renewable resources for electricity, more EV on the roads, more heat pumps, and instead of gas boilers for heating. They are decentralizing their generation, which is moving away from large generation assets to local distributed energy resources such as solar, wind, and battery farms. They're digitalizing their operations, which is making best use of technology and innovation to transform their legacy assets, workforce, processes, and enable a smart grid to balance demand and supply in real time. Using DERs, EVs, and heat pumps by use of technology such as IoT, 5G, data, and AI/ML. And then finally, democratizing the energy transition, which should involve all. It should not differentiate between the haves and have not. Because if one segment of the population or any country is left behind due to cost of adopting green technologies, then achieving net zero will be far from reality. Third challenge, delivering resilient operations. So as discussed above, ENU companies have legacy assets and aging workforce. Utilities are using digital twins and process mining to undertake proactive maintenance and reduce sudden loss incidents. They are using sensors, IoT, AI/ML to predict blockages or seepage in water pipes, or even monitor voltage and automatically balance the grid in near real time. They're combining weather data with network data and smart meter data for advanced power forecasting to reduce outages during severe weather conditions. And they're also implementing cybersecurity, threat detection, and containment solution. Let's look at challenge number 4, regulatory compliance. So Ofgem and Ofwat are the regulatory bodies responsible for governing the UK market. They work to protect customers and make sure there is no shortage of supply and the system runs fairly. So in addition to making rules, issuing guidelines, and making sure customers get the best value for the money they are charged, both regulators closely monitor all the energy utility and take strict actions against underperforming companies. They are penalized
Mm.
for poor customer service or unfair practices and constantly asked to find ways to reduce bills for customers through innovation. Even getting approvals for their regulatory cycle budget, for example, Rio 82, PR 24, and regular review of their yearly spend and performance goals, etc., continues to be a challenge. And lastly, which is the most important one, is the customer experience. So the latest Ofgem market compliance report in Feb 23 highlighted that customer service is still not good enough. Some examples are incomplete communications to customers in relations to complaints, inconsistent scripts for staff handling complex calls. There is high waiting times. For example, call number rose to around 300% in some suppliers. Phone calls were not picked. That's how 50% of customers gave up, hanging up the calls. There's high rate of customer complaints upheld by the ombudsman. So the energy and utility companies are trying extensively adopting new technologies such as digital home assistants, personal apps to understand their customer behavior and integrate the customer uses data in all aspects of their operations. Their business models are also changing to include packaged home energy solutions using renewables and prosumers. However, delivering a great customer experience continues to be a challenge. Yes, Sumit.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Uttam. Thanks for explaining these challenges, in detail. These all five challenges are pretty much, you have covered up pretty much in detail. Okay. Now, while you have spoken about the challenges, what are the innovations which the industry is being taking care for?
Good question. So I'll just talk about a few of them. So let's look at how the energy utilities are actually transforming using adopting new technologies and innovation in order to streamline and improve their operations. So the water companies actually they are using under pipe robots. They're using video capture technology. They are using IoT sensors to monitor water pressure within the pipes, detecting blockages in pipes, or even substation monitoring for energy voltage fluctuations. They are
Mhm.
using digital twins for maintenance and asset integrity engineering. They are using
Mhm.
drones for surveillance of transmission lines, robots for large asset facilities review. They're using you know producing hydrogen using renewable energy and shipping it to demand side. They are using large battery farms to store cheap renewable energy. They're also
Mhm.
using getting ready to adopt the vehicle to grid technology for EVs to power the grid during peak times. They're
Mhm.
also using digital home assistants to advise customers on using and driving good behavior. They're
Mhm.
also having demand flexibility sessions in the UK, we have recently said, so that energy could be conserved during peak hours and it is being incentivized.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
let me summarize today's discussion. So while the energy and utility is undergoing transformation to fight the climate change, achieve the net zero target, there is still an urgent need to invest in renewables, government legislation to develop renewable resources infrastructure, modernization of grid, assets, workforce, adhere to regulatory pressures, improve operations and customer experience by use of digital data, AIML, digital twins, etc. So energy and utility companies are the lifeline of our nation, economy and citizens, and it is absolutely critical to drive sustainable transition for the benefit of our future generation. Thank you for your time
Mhm.
today. We would be glad to answer any questions or hear or feedback or comments. Please use the following details to contact us. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for giving your time.